Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're going to take a look at probably one of the more highly anticipated figures from the Siege toy line. We're taking a look at Mirage. Mirage was just recently released. Of course, earlier in October, a special version of Mirage was released on Amazon that had him in entirely trans blue plastic, like the plastic here around his legs, to make him come off as being in his holographic mode. So that will be reviewed here sometime if we haven't already. But at any rate, we're going to take a look at the retail version. And he is pretty accurate to his cartoon counterpart, whereas the Amazon exclusive is more alike to the Generation 1 toy version. And of course, you do also have the option here for his shoulder-mounted weapon. It can be placed in his hand if you so prefer. Just to show you it can be done. So you can go that route if you want, but if you're a G1 purist like me, then that one goes on his shoulder to represent the Electro Disruptor that the G1 toy came with. There you go, you can see the two of them side by side. As you can see, the newer one is somewhat taller, which is a nice thing. Plus, the new one also has considerably more articulation. The original one was primarily in the arms, so you could rotate his arms at the shoulders, but he was one of the few that actually had articulation at the elbow. So you could bend his arm at the elbow a little bit. Plus, due to his need to use it for transforming, you could twist him at the waist. Whereas the new Siege Mirage, we can do considerably more. We can turn his head from side to side, and it can move up and down a little, just not very much. You can raise his arms up to about so far, and he can rotate his arm all the way at the shoulder. He does have a joint at the elbow, so it allows you to bend his arm at the elbow. If we shift the rear spoiler out of the way, you can see he does have the joint at the bicep, so he has the G.I. Joe swivel arm battle grip. He can also be turned at the waist, just like that. You can spread his legs apart to do a full splits. He can raise his leg up at the hip about 90 degrees, and he can bend at the knee about 90 degrees. So, a nice considerable upgrade in the toy's design. And we'll briefly take a look at his accessories as we get ready to transform him. We'll start with the weapon in his hand, if he'll give it to me. This would basically be his hunting rifle. Hard to say what this weapon is exactly, due to the fact that at this point Hasbro is putting more of the weapon descriptors in Cybertronian instead of readable Earth language. If there's anybody from Hasbro watching, please stop doing that. And then, of course, we've got the launcher here. And, of course, just like in the originals, the missile here is removable. And just like with Sound Blaster, this should be a toy you keep away from young children, because this is a very small piece that could easily be swallowed. So do keep it away from very young children. Alrighty. Now, to transform Mirage, what we do is we fold his fists into the arms like so. Then we're going to pop the arms free at the shoulder and move them up here to his chest. Then we bend the arms at the elbow like so. And then we're going to rotate them up and connect them together right over his face. Just exactly like that. Then we pop the body free to stretch it up, rotate it around so that we can fold out the back tires, and then fold his head in. Then now we take the legs and we'll rotate them at the hip here, so that we can also fold out to the sides his wheels. Of course, we got to lift out the leg section here and fold the feet down. And it makes it easier to see that we got to fold the wheels out in that direction. Straighten them out. So that we can lock them together. And then fold the rest of the leg sections up. Okay, fold the leg sections up. Like so. So they go past the legs. Then we can bring them together. And then lastly, we fold the body up and over, like so. A nice design reversal. As everybody remembers, this portion here on the G1 forms his chest. That's not exactly the case now. That now forms, his chest is now located on the back of the car. So, a nice change. And there we go. We now have Mirage in his IndyCar alt mode. Of course, see how it compares here to the Generation 1 version. Again, it's a little bit bigger and slightly longer. But it does carry many of the hallmarks that the original toy should have had, while being alien and unto itself. So that's a nice touch to it. And of course, as well, we can also mount the guns here on the spoiler. And then you have an attack Formula 1. This would make the Indy 500 a little more exciting, wouldn't it? I think that gets enough excitement as it is. How well does he roll on his wheels? Pretty good. He rolls pretty fast. Which is a nice thing with a racing car. You want it to be fast. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Mirage? I think this is a toy that's been long coming for us in the Transformers line. We've wanted a good Mirage for a long time. And this one does a good job of not only paying homage to the original toy, but it also goes in its own way, especially with it being the Cybertronian version. So it is a nice little touch here. I'm kind of glad that they did it. The only thing I'm really not proud of is the missile dart that's included with the launcher there. I think that should have either been molded in permanently or made a larger piece or something, just so it wouldn't pose a threat to young children. I know these toys aren't really intended for young children, but you never know. Sometimes they do wind up in their hands, so all in all, I'm definitely going to say that this one, unlike with Sound Blaster, this one definitely deserves to be more closer into the top tier, since this was more done on purpose, not an accidental design flaw, like it is with Sound Blaster. But Mirage is certainly a top-tier character, and I do like how this toy improves upon the original, and yet still goes in its own way. So I like the changes that they did to it, and I'm hoping that these thoughts also carry over when I review the 2-pack set with Impactor and see how that goes over. Anyway, that concludes my review of the Siege version of Mirage, retail version. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, drop me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button to join our ranks. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you'll be alerted when I post new content. And also, please share your thoughts about Mirage in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.